Hi, and welcome to episode number 183 of the Savvy Social Podcast. This is a show dedicated to helping passion-led entrepreneurs and business owners learn how to use social media as a tool to grow your business. I'm your host, ANDREA Jones, and I'm fiercely committed to helping you build community, create connection, and make your difference in the world. In this episode, we're talking all about LinkedIn strategies, and that's because inside of our program, the Savvy Social School, we are hosting a free LinkedIn challenge. Yeah, free, F-R-E, free, $0. You can learn more about this challenge at the end of the episode. You can also go to OnlineDrea.com/LinkedIn to learn more and sign up. So today we're talking all about LinkedIn, and over the past few years, I've seen my students and clients reach their goals faster with a lot less energy by leveraging the power of LinkedIn. They are posting less and getting more results. They are connecting with quality people, actually leaving some of those vanity metrics behind and focusing on community and conversation with those potential clients, collaborators, and partners who can actually move your business forward. And this is all through LinkedIn. And before I dive into some of the things that I noticed with LinkedIn this year and that we can bring forward into 2022, I do want to note that LinkedIn is just one marketing tool in your marketing tool belt. Right? This is something that I talk about a lot here on the podcast. Is something that I'm super passionate about when it comes to marketing your business, because I'm going to show you the LinkedIn magic, but don't feel like you have to be kind of corralled down this pathway. My goal is to help you figure out if LinkedIn is actually a tool for you and if it's the right tool for you in 2022. And if you've decided to go all in on LinkedIn, this episode will help give you some pointers on how to leverage this platform going into the new year. Yes, the new year. Happy New Year, y'all, by the way. We just released some of our brand new mugs. This is Say Savvy. If you're on YouTube, you can see these mugs. If you're on the podcast, you'll just have to imagine what it looks like. I also have these on my Insta feed. Yeah, stay savvy, friends. It's so cute to have these branded mugs. We're actually going to be giving them away in the challenge. But yeah, I just had to mention it because it feels like a breath of fresh air. 2022 is here and I'm excited. Now, I've done an episode on LinkedIn last year, episode 130, talking all about LinkedIn. And I want to read you something LinkedIn released just before that episode, which is LinkedIn is no longer just a place to find people. It's a place of personal and professional growth, a place of business growth, a place of economic growth, and a place that makes a difference in professional lives. It's a community where you can be inspired, build relationship, and discover unexpected opportunities. Now, that is from a blog post that was released by LinkedIn in 2020. And it's titled A New Look for LinkedIn from the Inside Out. And we've definitely seen them focused on that this year. We see them focused on the conversation, and we see them focused on the community element based on what users are actually using. So in that episode last year, I had talked about LinkedIn stories and how interesting it was that LinkedIn is starting to use stories. And since then, they've gotten rid of the feature. They've gotten rid of LinkedIn stories. And a lot of that is because users weren't using it and it wasn't focused on the collaborative element of LinkedIn. It was really focused on kind of projecting outwards. And LinkedIn is all about inviting conversation inwards, which is something that I think is super important as we go through into this new year. And if you are a member of the Savvy Social School, I did more of a private podcast episode in our feed podcast. Look for episode number 3, where I talk about this change that LinkedIn has made. Now, LinkedIn is also trying to lead the way with some of the issues that we've seen on other platforms this year, like Facebook, in that they are committed to protecting data. This is a conversation that has been just rampant in the online marketing space. And if you can hear my dog, he's excited about this conversation too. But LinkedIn is committed about protecting our data going into the new year. It's been a lot of the conversation online with how we are targeted, what information is collected from us, how that information is used. And so LinkedIn has made a statement about how they're committed to protecting that data. One of the trends that has been happening on LinkedIn, and really this happens on every platform, is that marketers create tools to help you leverage the data that's collected on that platform. And a popular way to do this with LinkedIn is scraping email. So there's a lot of tools out there that will comb through LinkedIn. You can give it certain parameters and it will go through all the profiles and pull the email addresses so that people can cold market, send cold emails to those people. And LinkedIn is really doubling down on removing those tools. They're going after them, and they're really creating signals internally that help their algorithms, their AI, try to decipher if someone is using one of these tools. We will hopefully also see, the reduction in automatic direct messages and, spam bots and things like that, which I just love to see on LinkedIn. Really don't get as many of them as on other platforms. If I do get it, I can kind of tell it was a manual process. They're not really using a tool. But there are a lot of tools out there that have done this. I've actually tried some of those tools in the past. Just know that LinkedIn is actively going after these tools and actively shutting down accounts that aren't really using LinkedIn for that community and conversation that they want the platform to be. All right, another interesting feature that LinkedIn has been promoting this year that has actually been around for a while is LinkedIn polls. Okay. LinkedIn polls, POLLS. I don't know why sometimes it comes out weird when I say it. The ABCD multiple choice option poll on LinkedIn. You may have noticed that the feed, your LinkedIn feed, is filled with these polls. This is LinkedIn's way of noticing that a lot of people on their platform like to participate. So again, we're diving into this idea that LinkedIn is a community effort. It's not just about blasting out content, but it's about inviting people into a conversation. And so what I see happening with these polls is that not only are people voting on their choice, so an example, this is really a silly example, but it could be, what's your favorite season? Is it A, spring, B, summer, D, fall? Did I miss one? C, fall, D, winter. When we're thinking about those options, we go, oh, I'm definitely a summer person. So we put summer, and then we go to the comment section and we expand upon why we selected that option. So I personally love the heat. I love the summertime. I could live outside summer weather all day, every day, right? So users are turning to the platform for this form of engagement. And so our LinkedIn feed is filled with polls. And so this, I think, is a really good sign for business owners. If you're looking for ways to show up on LinkedIn, it's not about blasting out your message or creating some sort of content piece. It's really about inviting people into that conversation. Some of the other changes we've seen on LinkedIn that will help you in 2022 are that LinkedIn pages now have some more features. One of those features is that, pages can also do polls. Pages can also now post articles, which previously a LinkedIn article was only available as a personal profile. And so with this shift to pages, I think there's going to be a much stronger distinction between what a personal profile is and the role that plays in your business versus a page. I think there is a spot for both. But I think that, having that page be kind of like your calling card is a really great way to leverage LinkedIn. And we're seeing that they're not getting rid of pages. They're kind of focusing on them with some of these new features. LinkedIn is also focused on quality content. So we talked about how they're really focused on conversation, but they don't really want to just have fluff. Okay. They don't really want to promote, the type of content that doesn't mean anything. They're really digging deeper. So these next three things that I want to talk about are all about how that is showing up on LinkedIn. And the first is that they have created a a creator mode on LinkedIn. So we've seen this on a lot of other platforms. Facebook has a creator mode, Instagram does, TikTok does. This is really them investing into those people who create quality content on their platform. And so LinkedIn has now created a creator mode where they're actually highlighting some creators in the space. These are people who are exemplary people on LinkedIn. They're examples of what LinkedIn wants their content to look like. And you can see that there's an emphasis on diversity with this group of people. You can see there's an emphasis on professionalism with these group of people. These are the people who are going to lead the way for what content on LinkedIn is going to look like in the future. So definitely check out the LinkedIn list of creators and start being inspired by the people on this list, because this is the type of content that LinkedIn is going to prefer. Now, LinkedIn also has released or opened up their LinkedIn Live feature. So last year when I talked about LinkedIn Live was just starting to pick up steam, but you had to apply in order to get access to it. And you had to not only apply, but get accepted. And at the time, not a lot of people were getting accepted to LinkedIn Live. Well, now LinkedIn Live is available to anyone who turns on that creator mode on LinkedIn. If you already have LinkedIn Live, you don't have to change anything. But for those of you who've been eager to dive into LinkedIn Live, that is now available for a lot of people on the app. And this again goes back to this idea that LinkedIn is all about quality content and conversation. So they want people to live stream because it's a more interactive form of video, and they want it to be quality. The last thing I'll talk about is the newest feature on LinkedIn, which you probably noticed if you're on the app, which is LinkedIn newsletters. Now, newsletters, much like LinkedIn Live, were only available to a handful of people last year. This year, they're opening it up to even more people, especially those people who have shown that they are participating on the app and they're creators on LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn newsletters are a great way to get your big ideas put out there on LinkedIn. So they're a lot longer than, your regular LinkedIn post. They live a lot longer than a LinkedIn post in the sense that you can have an archive of those newsletters. I think the challenge here is going to be differentiating between newsletters and articles. So my secondary prediction is I think articles for personal profiles may start going away a little bit. I don't know if they'll combine the two. But the great thing about a newsletter is there's a push notification built into the app. So any user who opts into your newsletter will get a push notification at the time it goes live. Your newsletter goes live, they'll get an email or they'll get a notification on their mobile device that your newsletter is ready to consume. Now, they're really focusing again on quality content here, and they want to build in some sort of cadence and regularity to your newsletter plan. So part of this newsletter is committing to show up on a regular cadence. I've seen a lot of people do weekly newsletters for this. So it'd be a really great opportunity to really get in front of the right people regularly. Now, one of the downsides of the LinkedIn newsletter is that you don't own those contacts. So for those of us who have other newsletters, like I have my own newsletter outside of any social platform, but I own those email contacts. So if I decide to take my newsletter to another platform, I own all of those contacts. Whereas with LinkedIn, if you invest in building out a LinkedIn newsletter and you decide LinkedIn isn't the platform for you, or LinkedIn, something happens and it changes, you are out of luck a little bit because you're building on borrowed land. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about this newsletter. Be a little bit strategic about your calls to action and your next steps and how people get to know you via that newsletter. The great thing is that you're able to connect with so many more people. The downside is not having direct content with those people outside of that push notification. Now, if you want to learn more about LinkedIn, if you're like, I'm ready, Andrea, to dive on into LinkedIn, check out our LinkedIn challenge. It's called the LinkedIn JUMPSTART Challenge. This is our 4th year running the challenge, and it always gets amazing traction. People love it. We dive into optimizing your profile. We talked about sending out posts. We talk about actually connecting with people on a deeper level. And this is all for free. This is free training within the challenge. I also have some super sweet bonuses for you. If you join the challenge, you get access to, actually, I won't tell you go over to the link, check it out, onlinedrea.com/LinkedIn to see all of the bonuses that are available because they're pretty awesome. And one of them in particular is quite advanced and will set you so far apart from any other platform or profile on LinkedIn. Just really adds that personal touch and elevates your entire profile. So check that out. This is a free challenge, so it's not available forever. So we start January 24th and we go for a week, and the content is available for a week after that. So limited time offer. Join us now for this challenge, and we hope to see you there. Now, if you are a social media manager, just a little side note for you, I do have a webinar coming up this Thursday, January 6th. Head over to my Instagram profile or my LinkedIn profile to check out the more details. But this is a webinar that I've done a few times in the past, and I'm bringing it back for the last time before I head into maternity leave, and probably they'll be the last time this year, really, if ever. So check it out. Great opportunity for those of you who are ready to up-level your business, especially if you're a freelancer and you want to grow into a team. This is for you. Next week, I have the LinkedIn Whisperer coming on the show, the CEO of Social Sales Link. Y'all are going to love this conversation. I'll see you then. Bye for now.